it was for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers Friday night, knocking off the best team in the sport in Milwaukee yesterday in a showdown against the Clippers. LeBron was sensational, and all of a sudden, the conversations are, can the Lakers win a championship? And is LeBron James the leading candidate for the league's most prestigious honor? And with Jay Will here all morning, and Doris Burke here all morning, and 8 minutes away from First Take, the one and only Stephen A. Smith.
Surrounded by greatness. Surrounded by greatness.
That's how I feel.
That's right.
Here's the point. I opened the show this morning by saying you cannot spell LeBron without the letters MVP, which I was using as ironic humor. In your opinion right now, is LeBron James the most valuable player in the NBA?
No, it's still the Greek Freak. It's still Giannis Antetokounmpo, but I will tell you that, as I said weeks ago, it's a two-horse race, and it's very, very close. This position that it's a foregone conclusion that the Greek Freak is definitely the MVP. I said it was 20-plus games to go. LeBron is right there because they were the number 2 seed, number 1 in the Western Conference, number 2 overall, number 2 offense in the NBA when LeBron is on the court, number 29 when he's off the court. He's having a phenomenal season, 17th year, 35 years of age, has been absolutely sensational for the most part. But there were 2 games against Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, he struggled. When they lost to Milwaukee, you bring that up because the reason why is the consistency of Giannis throughout the year coming into last week's game against Miami was there. So I think that, again, it's very, very close. I think it's a nail-biter right now, but I would still give the Greek Freak the slight edge.
How would you respond to people that said, are we carrying the same narrative that when LeBron played in the East, he was running through the East due to the Western Conference being so powerful with the density of the great teams in the Western Conference?
I would agree with that. What I would say in response to that, though, is that's why I brought up him against Kawhi on 2 occasions before yesterday, him against the Greek Freak when they went in Milwaukee. I look at those kind of things. And not only that, the early part of the season where he was trying to ingratiate Anthony Davis into the equation. I'm looking at those kind of things, whereas the Greek Freak didn't have to worry about those things. Again, it's a regular season, but I've never felt it's a foregone conclusion. I picked LeBron James to win the MVP at the beginning of the season, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he did it now.
So you said the gap is narrow.
Very narrow.
What ultimately, 20 games left for the Lakers, 18 for the Bucks. Giannis may not play the next couple. What ultimately will decide it?
Well, for me personally, if LeBron James continues to play the way that he played this weekend, and there's a level of consistency, and you end up like a game or 2 worse than the Milwaukee Bucks, I think you can make a legitimate argument to give it to him because the East is, to me, weaker than the Western Conference. And if LeBron sits there and plays the way that he played over the weekend against elevated levels of competition, I don't think they can deny him that.
Same question for Doris Burke. You said earlier this morning that for you it is still Giannis, but there is still a quarter of the season to go. What would flip it for you?
Well, we're seeing the Bucks do things historically on the defensive end that tie directly to Giannis Antetokounmpo, and that's protect the rim, the most valuable real estate in basketball. This is a man who could win Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. I think that if the Lakers end up within a game or 2 in the Western Conference standing of the Bucks' overall record, then I have to look at it. And again, it would require LeBron to keep the level. Listen, I tortured myself over a couple of MVP races.
Yeah.
And this is going to be very hard.
I'll just poise you guys with this. I think the Lakers are up, 5 games or 6 games right now? 6
in the West, 6.5.
6.5 in the West, right? So if you're getting prepared for the playoffs, does it behoove them for LeBron to continue to play at this high level? If you're Frank Vogel, do you want him to sustain this as you're trying to get them ready for the playoffs as well?
I think that with LeBron James, what we have to remember is that we're never going to judge him by the amount of minutes that he plays. We're not going to sit up there and look at LeBron James and let's say, for example, he only plays 25 minutes as opposed to 35, and he scores in 25 minutes. He scores 20. We're not going to hold it. We're going to watch how he's playing when he's on the court because he's been in the league for so long and he's been so great for so long. We're not going to judge him negatively in that regard.
I don't think there's a player in the league who manipulates endgame situations any better than LeBron James. And we've seen that in both of the last 2 games, where in the fourth quarter, when what was necessary was LeBron James to take the basketball and become a force physically, he did that. If he needs to manifest himself and his greatness as a passer, he does that as well. And in the final 5 minutes of those 2 games against the only teams that are in the same tier, he guarded the 2 best players.
The beauty of what you saw from LeBron James yesterday, for me personally, you knew he's trying to win. He's a team player. He's a basketball savant. But in the same breath, he answered the call. Friday, I'm going to guard the Greek Freak, and I'm going to attack him physically. Yesterday against Kawhi, he posted him up a couple of times. Give me the rock. There's a man in this post. Deal with me. And you saw him do him, but in the same breath, answer the call. And when you're talking about the league MVP, we need to see moments when you answer the call. He answered the call yesterday.
That's why I'll say it over and over again. He wins the award as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I've got to let Stephen A. go. I will meet you across the hall in 3 minutes. And Doris,
by the way,
yes,
speed up your walk just a little.
Oh, I'm coming.
I mean, you've been cruising across the hallway.
Yeah, it's like a WWE type of walk-in.
Like, they're doing a model, the runway walk-in or something like that.
It's just my natural gait. Anyway, I will see you there in a
Mr.
minute.
Chippendale.
Doris, we are so delighted to have you. Thank you very much for being here. Get my football crew over here for the final couple of minutes because it is the beginning of a huge 2 weeks in the National Football League. All these things will get sorted out to some degree. Dak's future, Brady's future, the CBA, and all the rest of it. And, of course, all eyes are on Brady. And I'll say it again as I bring my crew in here. And Dan Graziano, I understand that Tom Brady, there were a lot of uncertainties that he is waiting to see play themselves out in terms of other players deciding where they want to wind up. But I will continue to say the notion that he has not already had multiple exploratory conversations and has some sense of what the next 3 years of his life are going to look like, that just doesn't add up to me.
I agreed. I mean, I'm a skeptic by trade and by nature, so I'm with you on that. But, I mean, we have to make it clear that any conversation he and his agent are having with a team that's not the Patriots right now is against the rules. And so if that's going on, you know, you have to factor that in. So it has to be done sort of surreptitiously, which everybody knows it is. So I think what was said earlier on this program is true. I think he has an idea what his choices are going to be. I don't know that he has an idea yet or has decided yet what his ultimate choice is going to be.
So when I look at this, what I find really interesting is we're talking about all these other pieces that are moving around. And so what are teams going to be able to offer? Well, that's who they've signed in free agency. That's how they've begun to construct these teams around them. So then you're basically saying, Tom Brady's not going to be a guy that signs on the first day, maybe not on the second day. I just have a hard time envisioning him being one of the third or fourth dominoes as a quarterback, especially if he's the first quarterback domino to actually fall.
What do you think he cares about?
Well, I think he cares about quality of life, but also he wants to write his own narrative. But I think we really have to pay attention to New England because if he's not signed back with New England, or we don't have indications that he's signing back early, then we've known that the decision's already been made even before he makes it.
Okay, that's fair enough. And we leave you today with 3 words. J-Lo, A-Rod, TikTok.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not sure how many words that actually is. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. This is good. This is
Good job, J-Lo.
It's going to take a turn. It's going to take a turn.
Oh.
Stand by.
Like
Stand
this.
by.
Oh! My
That's the new thing.
word.
That's the new thing.
I can't get that out of my head. I can't get it out of my head.
Well,
I have so many questions.
That's the new thing going on TikTok. It's trending.
Oh, no.
A-Rod's trending.
Oh, no.
Where
We didn't get to vote on that.
Where did A-Rod get that outfit?
Nobody asked me.
I think I just threw up in my mouth.